The 25th Hour Radio Show. I want to thank everyone for joining me on the show today. I am your host, Rob Fairless, and this is the 25th Hour Radio Show. On the phone, I have actor, producer, motivational speaker, and philanthropist, Tank Jones. Tank, thanks for joining me on the show today.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. That's a lot of job titles. It sounds like I need to cut down on one or two of those.
It's definitely a mouthful, man. It's definitely a mouthful. Tank's here to talk about his new movie, Union Bound, that's releasing to theaters April 22nd. But first, Tank, let's back up and talk about the origin of actor Tank Jones. What was your initial inspiration to even become involved in acting?
I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. Actually, when I was 2 years old, I did a Sesame Street commercial, believe it or not, and had an agent and everything. And my mom, she had a severe case of scoliosis, and she ended up being bedridden for a year. I grew up on a farm outside of Chicago, so 50 miles away. Nobody wanted to take me to my auditions. Career over. Then I fast forward to when I was a teenager, doing everything, doing plays all around town. My mom always had me in the church plays, and so it kind of solidified it was something that I wanted to do. So when I graduated, I moved out to Arizona so I could be close to LA. Got me an agent, and I just like to entertain. I'm not. It's funny, but I'm not necessarily the same person when you meet me, because I can be introverted at times, but when I step either in front of a mic or in front of a camera, I know it's something that I just enjoy doing.
You know, that's kind of weird you say that, because the next question that I was going to ask you was, growing up, let's say maybe in your high school years, was you the guy who was always the center of attention, maybe the class clown, always into something, or like you said,
Never.
You an introvert?
You talk to any of my now, was I a popular kid? Yes. I was actually the homecoming king of my high school, so people knew me, people liked me, but I was never the class clown. I pretty much very respectable to all my teachers. I played sports, so really I think it had more to do with that from the prom king thing. But no, I talked to everybody. I was always cordial, always looking to be helpful. But center of attention, no. Class clowns, no. None of that. But I could make you laugh if I wanted to.
There you go. Now, do you think having that type of personality helps one prepare or gives that person a leg up on the competition when it comes to getting into acting? I mean, to me, it's almost like having years of experience already if you are that type of person.
I'll tell you, the way for me for acting is basically being able to display believably, to be instead of act, to have different life experiences that you can draw upon to create a full character when asked to do so. So if you look at a lot of the top performers that have in any genre where acting, whether it happens to be music, you'll find the same thing. A lot of them, when they get up on stage, it's a different animal, but when you meet them in person, a lot of them even shy away from social. It's crazy, but you feel like that's the way that you express. I guess a lot of people who you would consider to be class clowns, they already fully express themselves in public and in private. So there's no need for that particular outlet for this. But for people like myself and I guess other introverts, I guess that's our outlet. I never really even thought about it that way. See, I feel like I'm on a therapist couch right now. Say, telling all my woes, and we're working it out.
How does that make you feel?
I look, say, well, so hit me when I was in class. And I said, no, sorry. We could go all day with that one.
Yeah, exactly, man. So man, as I look over your career so far, have you ever had to struggle within yourself to keep pushing forward with your dream, even though you might have hit maybe a dry spell in landing a few roles?
Yeah, see, like I said, now I'm about to you getting me to bear some more of my soul. Let me sit back in this chair real quick. Yes, that's oh man. I've had days, I'll be honest with you, and for the interviews that I've done, I haven't been asked this question, but I've had days, honestly, where I have cried. I've sat, and so you figure you're doing all of the right things. You know that you're practicing. You know that this is something you want to do. You do the affirmations. You have faith. I'm a man of faith, too, so you feel that your life, you're blessed when you come, you're blessed when you go. Like, God, I don't really feel blessed right now. Um, and I've had tons of times. I say yes. I've actually said I've had to be away from people for a while because admitting to you probably for the first time ever, that's where I've been. It's made me depressed. Where I said I know that I have the talent. I know this is something that I want to do. What gives? Dealing with all those issues is actually how I found my way to the project Union Bound because one of my really good friends is the director of the project, Harvey Laurie. And I've known Harvey for years. We've worked together on another project, and we just hit it off. He's like family to me. And he was doing a film in Arizona. And he wanted me to come down to the studio. And when I went down to the studio to see where they were shooting, I was telling him, like, man, I'm filming one of those moves right now. I know I'm living in Arizona right now, not in LA, but it seems like I'm not auditioning as much. Nothing really is going, and I'm doing all of these other different things when what I really want to do is act. And he said, oh, I'm glad to hear you say that because I've got a film coming up in 6 weeks shooting in North Carolina. I want you to take a look at the script. And said, any particular role? I said, just read it. Let me know what you think. And of course, you know the story, Rob. Civil War film based on a true story. And I read it, and I said, that's an interesting take on the Civil War. I've never seen that in any of the history books, but it's not a take. It's a true story. And I was giving him feedback. I was giving him feedback on the character of Simon. I was giving him feedback on the character of Jim. It's like I really got immersed in reading the script. And they were looking at an actor from The Walking Dead to play the role of Jim. But because I know Harvey so well and because he knows my work, and he said, in the notes that I had taken, he said, you want to play Jim? I said, heck yeah, I want to play Jim. He said, well, if you want the role, it's yours. And I was no audition, nothing, just reading the script, giving my notes, giving my feedback. But he said, I know you can do it, and I know you can play the range of emotions. So I got to give a special shout out to my man Harvey for believing in me enough to do it sight unseen, and I really did. I took to it. I put as much work as I could. I did my process, everything. And hopefully when people watch the film, they see the work that was put into it.
Now, what's this movie about? I know you mentioned it a little bit there, but in more detail, what's the role of your character in the film?
Well, so the whole film, Union Bound, is the story actually of Joseph Hoover. Joseph Hoover was a Union soldier. He gets captured in the Battle of the Wilderness, shipped down to Andersonville, and then they shipped him up to another prison that was up in the Carolinas. He escaped and somehow stumbled upon a plantation and got slaves. He was trying to get slaves to help him make his way back up north so he could continue fighting. So he, in essence, and people have different, do you know what the Civil War was really about? It wasn't about slavery. It was about, and that's to all those people. I say, yeah, I hear you, I understand, but shut up. Just enjoy the film. It's real history. It's not like it was made up history. So go in and enjoy the film. But the take was he went to war to free the slaves, but in essence ended up getting freed by them. And that's pretty awesome in such a dark, bleak time in a period that people who you would not, slaves, who were considered property, would stick their necks out for another white man, if you will, because if they were found out, they would all be hung or killed. So I love that about the story. And my character, Jim Young, I happened to be a slave. I'm not free at the time. I've got to, after learning about Joseph's story, I have to make some quick decisions on if I want to help him and stick my neck out for him literally and risk my freedom or even be killed, or do I want to help these guys and do the right thing? So that's what the story of Union Bound is for me. It's a story of heart. It's a story of courage. It's a story of humanity and doing the right thing in spite of the consequences.
Now, as far as the filming of the movie itself and working with the other cast members, did it take a while to start, quote unquote, gelling with everyone, or was it pretty much an easy transition once you arrived on set?
So I got a chance to work with everyone, and particularly in the movie, I'm working mostly with Sean Stone, who plays Joseph Hoover, and Randy Wayne, who plays Tom, Joseph's friend, who escapes with him. And The guys were great, man. Honestly, we had a lot of fun working together. After, I would say, the first or second day, no, we were in each other's heads and in each other's thoughts. We gave our ideas on the characters that we were playing. Everybody listened. We went over. Even Harvey and the writer of the script, John Arrington, we all worked together. They were open to the notes we had, and we still have a friendship that continues to this day. We're in touch with each other at least once a month, if not more. And when we did the premieres over in the Carolinas, it was just like we had seen each other and worked just yesterday.
You know, as far
and also worked with, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll edit that.
Oh, no, I was going to say, and all the other great actors that were on set, too. So the lady that played my mom, to Isaac Singleton, who played Simon in there. And you'll recognize a lot of faces. Isaac actually had a nice role in Deadpool, too. And, yeah, all of these great everybody. I mean, it really says, on the set, we had a great time. Shout out to Mike Davis, too, for putting everything together, and Dwayne Journey for keeping everybody on set. Kara, Barbie, I mean, Sheila, she kept me protected from all the bugs. So, I mean, it didn't take very long for everybody to gel, and we had a good shoot, great shoot.
You know, man, as far as comparing this role to the other roles and projects that you've been a part of, how difficult was it to become Jim Young as an actor? I mean, how much time and study was put into learning about the man himself? Because I'm sure as an actor, man, you wanted to pay homage to him the best way you could, right?
Absolutely, and with the fact that he really was a living, breathing person. And I look at everything that I could, Rob. I did Google search, I looked at documentaries, I watched film, I read books on the Carolinas, because that's where, and the slave trade, and how they spoke, and mannerisms, and education levels or lack thereof. I mean, I put in work every single day, and for my own personal acting approach, who is this person? The 5 W's: who, what, when, why, where, and then the how is also. And I put in a lot of work. I wanted to make sure that the character of Jim Young wasn't just a caricature and a slave that was two-dimensional. I wanted to make him living. I wanted to make him breathing. I want people to be able to relate to him and understand that at the end of the day, he's still human. And he had decisions he had to make that they just kept flying at him. And as an actor, you want that challenge, because it's a rainbow of emotions that he had to play from start to finish on this film. And it's the most challenging role, quite honestly, that I've ever done, because, one, he was a real person. Number two, because of all the emotions that he had to play simultaneously. And it wore me out, I'll be honest. It wore me out, but I was so happy to have done it. We shot for 6 weeks. I could have shot for another 6 weeks, but it was hard. I'll be honest. It a lot of tears shed. When I first got onto the plantation there, the place where I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is where slavery actually happened. There were slaves that were here. They slept here. They used those tools. And all around you can imagine for a couple of 100 years. And it's like, oh my God. And I stood there for at least 20 minutes, unable to move, taking it all in, and said, okay, regardless of how big or how small this film gets, it's going to be for all time, for eternity. It's going to be saved. So you give the best that you possibly can and make the family proud. If any of Jim Young's descendants are somehow still alive and able to see it, or if he had any descendants. Because the descendants of Joseph Hoover, Pam J, shout out to her, and Bill J, beautiful people. I got a chance to meet them the first day. They showed me in the diary where Joseph wrote about Jim, and they treated me like I was Jim. Pam thanked me and said, without you, which she meant Jim, I wouldn't be here. And that was really awesome, man. Really, really awesome. I was taken aback, extremely humble, and I hope I did her and her family proud.
Man, I can tell by the way you're talking, you must be anxious and ready for the release on April 22nd to see what type of reaction it will get from the general public, right?
I am, man. Friday, April 22nd, it comes out. You know, Rob, I don't get caught up in that. I try not to. I mean, we've had a couple of premieres, and I've seen people posting things online I even had another reporter say, I've been seeing different things about this movie and this guy Tank, and trust me, it makes me smile. I'm humbled. I'm gracious for everybody that had all the feedback that it's getting so far. It's historical and it's accurate. It's something that happened, and people say, here we go, another Civil War film. I really don't think you can get enough of the history of it because there's so many different stories. It shapes who we are as a country today. So you need to learn your history. You need to learn the different stories and find out why certain things are the way they are right now. Because if you just forget about your past and you don't pay homage to it and what it created you today, you're doomed to repeat the failures. So we don't want to repeat those failures. We want to learn from it and we want to grow from it. And so, yeah, Friday, April 22nd, go check your local theater. Check out the movie, leave reviews, let other people know about it. I believe people will enjoy it. Right after that, bro, I don't know if you knew, man, we're doing a tour, too. Union Bound is doing a tour. It's kicking off in Franklin, Tennessee, I believe, on May 11th, and we're doing 15 dates over from then to May 31st. So tell people, too, go to unionboundthetour.com and check that out. I'll be hosting it, be looking to meet some people. And you might even meet Jim at a couple of those dates. We'll see.
You know, and like I mentioned earlier, other than being an actor, you're also a producer, a motivational speaker. Other than Union Bound, man, what else do you got going on that my listeners might be interested in?
So, as I also said earlier, I am the co-producer of one of the most successful comedy tours in the country. It's called the Latin Comedy Jam. And we promote everyone from your big name acts, Carlos Mencia, your legends like Paul Rodriguez. We have an all-star cast, and we're doing shows all over the place. People can go to the LatinComedyJam.com to find out where the show's playing near them. I also have 6 more film projects that I'm doing between now and the end of the year. A Western called The Deadliest Gun. I produced a TV pilot called Fire and Ice, which will be coming out in the next, hopefully in October. You'll find that on one of the streaming services. I just can't tell you which one yet. And still do performing. A hip-hop group called 22, going to start doing performances again. People are asking me to speak again, not just for my nonprofit choices, but also just as a business person because I currency trade. But the biggest, I go on and it sometimes it gets dizzying. So the biggest thing is make sure that they see the film, come see the tour, check out the comedy show. And if you're looking for someone, I go to elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, also speak to businesses, real estate agencies about choices, making the right ones, why it's important to work hard, important to believe in yourself, and some of the tools you can use for critical thinking and problem solving to solve any of the challenges you might be facing. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. You can find me under Larry Tank Jones. Friend me. I always try to reach out to people if they ever message me. Yes, it is me. So might take me a while to get back to you, but I promise you I will.
And I just want to mention one more time to everyone, the movie is called Union Bound. It releases nationwide on April 22nd. Tank Jones, thank you very much for taking out time on a Sunday to join me on the show. It's been my pleasure.
Oh, I appreciate you having me, and hopefully, yeah, don't be a stranger. I won't be to you. Thank you for having me.
The 25th Hour Radio Show.